In this video, I'm going to be talking about what to do if you're not going to get the appointment on your prospecting calls. My name is AJ and welcome back to my channel. So there's two variations that I'm going to cover when it comes to prospecting. It's going to work for sale by owners and it's going to work for expired listings. There's always that time in a phone call when prospecting where you just know you're not going to get the appointment. Well, it's like that awkward, like, okay, well, nice talking to you, or they get fed up and they're trying to get off the phone and you don't really know where to take them. This script that I'm about to share with you is your solution to that, and I promise you, you will get more listings when using this strategy, and your prospecting calls are going to go a whole lot better because you're not going to have so much pressure on yourself to get to the listing appointment on that very first call, and you're not going to come across too aggressive with the prospect. I want to be very clear that this strategy should not be used for just going real quick through the call, getting off, and never asking for the appointment on that initial call. Every prospecting call that you should do, you should go through your script, and I have a free course in the description that you can check out with my scripts that you can download and use, but you should go through your script and you should ask for the appointment multiple times, not in a way that it's overly aggressive or that you feel like you're pressuring the prospect. A very easy and natural way to ask for the appointment naturally develops when you're using a script that you've internalized and you're having a good dialogue with the prospect. I'm here outside the Charlotte Convention Center at a conference where we're learning about how to live a full life with full vitality, and you know, the goal for some of the people in the room is actually to live to 150. Some of the speakers are Mark Sisson. He started Primal Kitchen, which is a brand you'll find in Whole Foods. We have the guy who is famous for the book 18 Summers, like basically you have 18 summers with your kids. I forget his name. We have another gentleman that's speaking who is like an ultra marathoner. That's going to be really awesome. And we had today the leaders of essentially like stem cell research and all the health benefits that comes from stem cell therapy. So it's been a great conference so far, and really looking forward to tonight's session with Gary Braca with 10X Health Systems and all the great speakers tomorrow. Fountains just came on, so I'm gonna head across the street where it's hopefully not so noisy. So this is the thing, guys. So after you ask for the appointment multiple times, a great trick that I like to use for this is actually putting like 5 pennies on your desk, $5 bills, whatever, and you really can't get off the phone until you move them all over. It's a great mental, I guess, trigger to make sure that you're always asking for the appointment. So make sure you're doing that. And don't let yourself off easy again with this strategy. The strategy that I'm sharing with you today is the nurture strategy. The nurture strategy involves taking every no and turning it into a nurture. I find that most agents who are prospecting, they get that no and they just get off the phone and they lose that lead forever. But when you implement this nurture strategy, you start to get all these people who are not ready to list or sell right now, but when the time comes, they're open to interviewing you. And I can tell you, most agents are horrible at follow-up. So if you use the nurture strategy and have a good, strong, solid lead follow-up in place that I'm going to talk about, then you are going to crush it in the listing game, and it's going to get so much easier for you. The first thing that I want you to grasp is the difference between objections and conditions. A condition is something like, well, hey, we're actually not going to list right now because it's September and our kids are just getting back into school, and we were just trying it out during the summer, but right now it's just not a good time for us to sell the house because our kids are back in school. We were really just testing the market. The reality is they're not selling their house because their kids are in school and they were just testing the market. However, an objection on the other hand is, well, hey, you know, you're the 5th agent that called today, and what are you going to do differently? Usually when they say something like that, it's because they're frustrated their home didn't sell, but they're still motivated. Another example of a condition might be, we're actually just trying to sell our house last month because my husband or my wife, the job was relocating them and now they delayed it till next year. So check back with us next year. If you try to get the appointment and keep pushing for it in a scenario like that, where's it gonna go, right? They're not moving, they're not selling, so you need to move them into the nurture sequence. Another objection could be, hey, where were you when my house was on the market? You know, now that my house expired, all these agents are calling me. That's an objection. That's something that you can handle. Now that you've identified that it's an actual condition that you have that you're working with, now you move them into the nurture sequence. So you say this: Hey, it's been really great talking to you today. Totally understand that you're not going to list your house right now because of X. What I'd like to do, because I actually got to hop on another call right now, is I'd like to just follow up with you in the future and I can send you a little bit of information. Would that be okay? They'll say yes, because they want to get off the phone too. And then as soon as they say yes, and it's important that you do it in this sequence, because if they think you're going to try to email them stuff, they'll say no. So get confirmation first that they're okay with you sending some stuff out. So they say yes, say, okay, great, what's your best email? They give you their best email. Now you got an email list. Now you're building your database. You got their home address, you got their phone number, you got their email. Now you can contact them multiple ways. This is the full script, so follow along. You can write this out, you can listen to it over and over to hear the tonality, and there's, like I said, a free course in the description that has the scripts that you can download, so make sure you sign up for that. So the call's winding down, they're not gonna list with you. Mr. Seller, I actually gotta hop on another call. It's been great speaking with you, and I totally get you're not going to list your home right now, but let me ask, when the time comes for you to actually sell your house, are you open to interviewing me, or do you have somebody that you're already obligated to? Usually they'll say, no, I'd be open to interviewing you. Okay, great. Would it be okay if I sent you some information? They say yes. Okay, what's your best email? Now you got their email. Now you're building your database. We want to make sure that they're open to interviewing you, because I wasted so much time early in my career following up with people who were just being nice. They said, okay, yeah, sure, follow up in the future, but they were going to list with their daughter-in-law. You know, like, people, for the most part, are going to be nice. They're going to, just treat you well on the phone, and they don't want to, come across rude. So they're going to be like, yeah, sure, follow up with me. That's fine. However, you waste so much time. So make sure they're not obligated to listing with somebody else, and make sure they're open to interviewing you. Now what happens, and this is a beautiful thing, is you start to develop your nurture database. I call it your people farm. It's a database of hundreds, eventually thousands of people who agreed to interview you when the time comes to sell their house. Think about this. If you're prospecting for 3 hours a day, making 30 contacts per day, your target should be to get 3 to 5 nurtures per day. Let's use best case scenario. 5 nurtures per day is what you're getting. This is 5 people who agreed to potentially hire you when the time comes to sell their home. So 5 per day, 5 days a week, that's 25 a week. That's 100 a month. That's 1,200 a year. After 2 years, you have 2,400 people who said, when the time comes for me to list my house, I will interview you. I love PR. So guys, this is an amazing strategy. And eventually what happens is, rather than having to call the new expireds and facing massive rejection, you eventually start following up with your database of people who already have developed a relationship, know, like, and trust you. Now, I shared with you the strategy for expireds. Well, how about the slight variation for sale by owners? It's very simple. They're just not ready to list with an agent, but they're trying to sell their house. Hey, Mr. For Sale by Owner, totally get you're not ready to list with an agent. However, if anything changes, would you be open-minded if I just sent you a little bit of information about what we do that's significantly different than any other agent and has proven to actually net you more money in less time? Would that be okay if I sent you over some information? You sell them on your unique selling proposition. You give them a little sizzle of what makes you different. And you say, would it be okay if I sent you some information? They'll say yeah, or whatever. You drop off a packet, you email them. And then you say, hey, and I wish you the best of luck with selling your house, but how long would you say you're going to wait until you do decide to hire an agent? Usually they have a time in mind if they're a motivated seller, and we're looking for people who are ready to sell, they're motivated to sell. And then they give you the timeline. The key is to call them back in half that time. So if they say, well, we're gonna try it for another month, you say, okay, great. Well, I'm gonna follow up with you, and I'd love the opportunity to interview for the job of selling your home when you're ready. Would that be okay? They'll say yes. Then you call them back in 2 weeks. So it's just a slight variation to this script, and I promise you, you will nail it with this script. You will get so many nurtures and you'll get so many listings. This is exactly the strategy that I developed to take me from 6 home sales my first year to 36 home sales in my second year as an individual agent, and allowed me to consistently list 4 homes per month in my second year. So guys, hopefully you got some value from this video. Like it if you did, because if you liked the video, you gotta give me a like, right? And subscribe to the channel. And one last thing, just like I love PR, I love you for watching the whole video, and I love RedX. So my gift to you, if you don't yet have an expired data provider, a dialer system, a CRM system, a FISBO provider, just provider, and so many other things, check out the link in the description to save $149 off your setup fee and get signed up with RedX.